Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the November 14, 2024 Old Bridge Township Planning Board meeting. Please rise for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lenning,
Here.
Mr. Agopian,
Present.
Mr. De Palma,
Here.
Mr. Lauer,
Here.
Mr. Renna,
Here.
Mr. Petty is absent, Ms. Masella,
Here.
Mr. McIsaac is absent, Mr. Brennan,
Here.
Mr. Ferrara,
Here.
and Chairman is absent.
Okay, everybody, we're going to kind of step out of the order on the agenda, so we're going to do the applications first. If anybody's here for the 32-2023P Stenton Construction Corporation, major preliminary final site plan with a C variance, that is adjourned until December 12th, 2024. Okay? Next on the agenda is K. Hovnanian at Old Bridge.
Good evening, board members, professional staff, members of the public. My name is Peter Klauser. I'm an attorney with the firm Heilbrook Pape on behalf of K. Hovnanian at Old Bridge. This is an application for minor subdivision approval. It was an application that was approved by this board back in late 2019. The overarching purpose of the application, and you could see from the report that was submitted by Vina and Nicole, which is dated 2019, they didn't need to update their report. This is a lot as part of a residential development that has a detention basin on it and a recreational facility. The detention basin belongs to a homeowners association, should be, and the recreational facility belongs to the Township of Old Bridge. So when we were here in 2019, the board granted a subdivision so that I have the ability to draft a deed from the present owner of the property, a KHOV entity, to the association, and then a separate deed to the Township of Old Bridge, who wants the recreation facility. The very end of 2019, what happened a few months later? You know, we had COVID, it's a minor subdivision, we have a very short time frame within the work. We only have 190 days, which is a little more than 6 months. It didn't happen, we were unable to perfect it. Perfect it as a matter of making sure that there are any changes to the plans that they needed to be done. There were some open punch list items on the recreational facility that needed to be completed, which have been completed, have been inspected. And then I reached out to the township and I said, okay, here we are all these years later. I think we're in a good position where we can do this. Can I have an extension of time? And Vina and Joe put their heads together and said, Peter, you know, this would be a lot better if you just filed new application forms and came in as a fresh application and asked the board if they would reaffirm, that's what I call it, reaffirm that prior approval so that I can then break off the recreational facility, give it to the township, and then assign the basin lot to the appropriate association. So that's what we're here this evening to ask for. Nothing has changed with the plans. I have Brad here. He's a professional surveyor. He's prepared to testify if there are any questions from the board about the subdivision, but it is identical to what was approved before, and I'm asking if you would grant a reaffirmation of it so that I can then do my paperwork and get the properties where they belong.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Klauser. Can we go to, will Vina be commenting?
I don't know if Vina will be competent. I know she's in attendance here for virtually. I can say I've spoken with both Vina and our engineers and confirm what was expressed by Mr. Klauser, that this is the application that was previously approved. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in connection with what was presented. I can say I've spoken with both Vina and
Oh, I don't want to hear myself.
our engineers and confirm what was expressed by
Mr. Clauser, that this is the application that was previously approved. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed.
Sorry, a little distracting. I did.
I did.
Sorry, guys, 1 minute.
So
I'm back in. We can hear you.
you can hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So
I'm back in. We can hear you.
you can hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, Vina.
Because there is a lag. I'm watching YouTube live, and then but there is a time difference. So I would rather be on the phone and just we can talk like this, if that's okay with Joe.
Yes, that is fine, Vina, and just for the record, it's anyone who's listening to this, maybe not watching, we're just having some technical difficulties, so Vina Sawant, the board planner, is going to be attending via telephone, and we were just in the middle of discussing the minor subdivision application. Mr. Clauser just completed his summation and presentation. I was confirming what was presented by Mr. Clauser, and now we'll turn it over to Ms. Sawant to see if she has anything to say.
Good evening, board. I'm sorry, I'm still recuperating for this, and that's why I couldn't come in person. I did look at the application. Nothing has changed, and I agree with the summation Mr. Clauser has presented. I think the only request I have is should the board act favorably, the transcripts from the previous meeting as well as the condition of approvals remain the same with the new resolution. So I'm certain Mr. Clauser will agree with that.
Certainly, yeah. The only thing I would suggest is that Joe and I look and see if there's anything that's dated, maybe that's already been done or completed, and that we would, just acknowledge that.
Yes, and that is true that there were some punch list items which I understand that have been completed.
Correct.
But every other comment in our review memo, as well as the conditions of approval, still remain the same.
Understood.
Okay, thank you, Vina.
No problem.
Okay, I'd like to open up to our board members on my left. Anybody have a question or a comment about this application? Ed?
With the property?
No, the basin's long been constructed and inspected, and the bonds have been released.
Bonds have been released?
Yeah.
As well as for the recreational
Yes.
area? Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. To my right? Okay. I think we'll open up to the public. Does anyone from the public have a comment or a question to the surveyor or the attorney? Okay. Closing the public.
Anything further?
No, I would just, it's pretty plain on its face what this is, and I would just ask if the board would act favorably so we can get this done.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Mr. Lenning,
I'll second it.
Mr. Rena,
Mr. Lenning?
Yes.
Mr. Agopian?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Mr. Lauer?
yes.
Mr. Renner?
Yes.
Mr. McIsaac? I'm sorry. Ms. Masella?
Yes.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
And Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Sorry about the difficulties.
No problem. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay, moving forward, looking for a motion for the minutes of October 24th, 2024.
Move it.
Move made.
Mr. Lenning?
Second.
Yes.
Mr. Agopian?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Mr. Lauer?
Yes.
Mr. Renner?
Yes.
Ms. Masella?
Yes.
Mr. Brennan? And Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Okay, next we will discuss the agenda for 2025 Planning Board calendar. Has everybody had a chance to look at it? Any questions or comments or corrections? Is there a holiday that we missed?
The August 28th date is just a few days prior to Labor Day weekend. And I don't know if there could be some consideration to maybe move that back 1 week to perhaps August 21st.
Do you think we can look into that? Sorry.
Yeah, I will look. I'm just going to try and check my
We
calendar.
just- Yeah, we'd
make
have to
sure-
check to make sure the meeting room's
nothing else
open,
is
available.
scheduled.
There's no special council meeting beforehand.
That was a good one, Joe.
Thank you.
I think we can make that work. So we'll move the August 28th meeting to Thursday, August 21st.
Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you, Dan, and Daniel. Okay, so can we have a motion to accept the calendar as,
Hey, Casey?
Hold on. Yes. Correct. Okay, I'll let them know.
Zoning? No? Zoning? Is he gonna have one?
Okay, hold on. There might be a conflict on the 21st with this room. Can you, why don't you check all the calendars and
Why
then
don't,
get
why don't we just,
Yeah,
why don't
'cause-
we adopt it at the 21st, and then if we have to change it,
Change it again.
next
we can-
meeting, we'll change it at the next meeting. It's in August.
Yeah, I think this-
Let's
we-
not,
we have
let's
another-
not worry about a meeting in August that may or may not happen. So
yeah, the
let's
zoning
just
board
adopt
hasn't
it as the
adopted their
21st.
calendar yet. So we'll bookmark it for the 21st, and if any changes, we can always adjust it later.
Okay.
I'll move it.
Okay,
Second.
moving in second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lenning?
Yes.
Mr. Agopian?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes.
Mr. Lauer?
Yes.
Mr. Renna?
Yes.
Ms. Masella?
Yes.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
And Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Okay, next for discussion is 12-2022P Alferi Obridge Association LLC application scheduling.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. If I may just address this one. This is the Alferi application, which we discussed. We entered into a consent order settlement on this development, and they're going to come back before us for a full application and hearing on the modified development. They filed their application. It's currently being reviewed by our professionals, but we need to schedule the public hearing on that. Based on the timing of the consent order, we were supposed to have this scheduled by the end of the year, but due to unforeseen circumstances and a lot of other issues, we weren't able to achieve that. So we're looking to schedule this meeting in January. I know I was speaking to Vina about this, about potentially having the meeting scheduled for the Thursday before the reorganization meeting, or vice versa, having the reorganization meeting on the 16th, and then have a special, and having the Alferi meeting on the 23rd, or, some type of mixture of the both. Vina, I don't know, did you want to say anything on this item?
Yeah, board members, the issue is we have zoning board meeting on the 16th and the 30th. And that is why we had our reorg meeting on 23rd, which is our regular fourth Thursday. Now, the council meets on the 7th. So we could have our reorg on the 9th if the board doesn't want to hear Alferi the same night as reorg, and then give Alferi 23rd the entire night. Or we could just have 23rd reorg and then Alferi application. So we have two choices, either to have the reorg on 9th right after council, because we can't have it on the 2nd. We can't have the planning board meeting before the council meets. So we can either have it on the 9th, just the reorg, and then meet second time on 23rd and dedicate that 23rd for Alferi. Or we could do reorg and Alferi both on 23rd night.
Vina, if I may, would it be possible, just thinking to try to get this thing completed in case Alferi takes more than one meeting, is it a possibility that we have the reorg on the 9th and then start Alferi on the 9th and then
Yes.
continue it on the 23rd? Because I'm just trying to think of trying to get this thing done as quick as possible, but I'm just throwing it out as a possibility. It's up to the board.
Yes, that is also an option.
So I guess board members, what's your thoughts? And of your availability for the 9th as well.
What else would be on the 9th besides our reorg?
I mean, reorg's not going to take
No.
an overly long time. Just have everything on the 23rd, in my opinion.
Anybody else have a problem with that? Okay. I'm for the 23rd. Okay. Yes.
That's what we just adopted, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Vina, are you okay?
Yes. So, Joe, I just have one question though. For some reason, if the December meeting gets canceled, what happens with the calendar? I would prefer the board approve the calendar tonight, subject to a change for August, because then that secures us from the January date.
We did that, Vina. We did vote, we voted in favor of it, subject to potential amending the August date.
Okay. I can only hear some bits.
Oh, yeah, no,
I'm
no
sorry.
problem. But yes, we did make a vote. That was approved.
Okay, perfect. But now that vote should include the additional meeting as well.
No, the 23rd, Vina,
Oh, remember,
is already a
Vina,
meeting.
we're saying we're just going to have everything on the 23rd. That's what the board would like to do.
Okay, okay.
And Joe, do you think that it'll go into a couple of meetings with him? Or, in other words, are we going to be subject to give him a special meeting in
It could.
February?
It depends on how fast the presentation goes, how many questions we have. Our board professionals, we don't have the reports yet from them. We don't know how many comments they're going to have that may involve some back and forth with developers. So I'm just playing devil's advocate, thinking a large application that size could be a two-meeting hearing, though. It could go smoothly. We could have everything wrapped up ahead of time, meaning the board's professionals' comments, and they're agreeing to it, and then the hearing itself could be in one meeting. I just, like I said, just being cautionary, thinking it may carry over into two.
Joe, and since you are communicating with Joe,
Yes.
since you're communicating with Frank, I think what I want to do, just to have a streamlined hearing, I think we should have a technical review meeting prior to the public hearing, because it doesn't stop the professionals from meeting their professionals in the town hall prior to the meeting, right? So any technical comments we could brainstorm and resolve before they go in front of the board.
I think that's a great idea, Vina. And I have a feeling he's going to agree to that.
Yes, and I'll be happy to coordinate like a meeting, maybe first week of January itself.
Okay. I will mention it to him.
Or maybe even before the holidays, so mid of December.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right?
We
No
open up to the
problem.
public now? We're going to open up to the public. Seeing no hands, seeing no people. Close the public portion. Guess we need a motion to adjourn.
Move it.
I have a question.
Oh, Ed,
Yeah.
question?
Joe, wasn't there some litigation with Alfieri? How did all that turn out?
Well, that's what this is part of that. What we did is during some of our executive session discussions, we talked about how their modifications for their hearing, for their plans of moving everything to the main site, and that was included in a consent order. So we entered a consent order to the court saying that they're going to come back to us with a full application based on that concept plan that we discussed in executive session. And then we will hear the whole application, and if it meets the board's approval, we'll approve it, and it moves on, and the case gets dismissed. If it doesn't, and the board denies it, then the court retains jurisdiction, and it goes back before the court.
Is there someplace we could see these plans before the meeting?
Well, yes, they're fully filed with the board, their full plan, so they should be available, and they can be distributed. I'd ask, refer to Danny on how procedurally.
Yeah, they were emailed to everyone after last meeting.
Well, no, that was the RD manager. We're talking
sorry.
about the Alfieri.
Got you.
That's the one that they filed, they
Yeah, I'm
submitted
getting
the full
switched.
application in early October, I believe.
I'll
So,
send out what I have.
but yes, you should absolutely be able to have a copy of those. We'll make sure we get it to you.
Okay, did we get a motion and a second to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Lennon?
Yes.
Mr. Agopian?
Yes.
Mr. De Palma?
Yes?
Mr. Lauer?
Yes?
Mr. Renner?
Yes.
Ms. Masella?
Yes.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
And Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Everybody have a nice Thanksgiving.